welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Cameron John. I lead the product marketing team here at Houzz. I've been here for almost a year and a half. Most of my time has been on project management and a lot of the features that we built for contractors, trade industry, builders, all that stuff. So I'm flattered that there's this many of you guys out in the audience. And again, don't hesitate to ask questions. I'm here for you to get your questions answered live by Emily or by the team behind the curtain or myself if I know the answers too. So Emily, take it away.
Yeah, I'm Emily. I've been with Houzz for a few years now and just really enjoy working with this company because they offer so many great tools and features for our home professionals that can really help them just excel in their business. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. Today, we're going to be doing a deep dive into the product management. This is the Houzz Pro homepage. So just starting off, I wanted to show how you could get here, by the way. So if this was your profile, this is what I would call basically the front of the house. And everybody has their own way of explaining things. But for me, I like to think of this, if you see the green Houzz logo, that is for your guests and what your clients would see. So this is where you would showcase your projects and all of that. If you simply go to the Houzz Pro button, blue button on the right-hand corner, top of the screen, you can select that and it'll take you to the Houzz Pro landing page. With this, there's several different access points for a lot of different features. So when you're just getting started, it'll show you how to kind of get things set up with your targeted ads, profile setup, 3D floor plans, just some quick little things to kind of check out with videos that will walk you through each of those different features. If you're looking to have quick access for leads, projects, estimates, any of these other items, this is just a quick entry point for creating something new for those features. This will show you the current projects that you are working on that you have listed. Also, any current leads. This will show basically the current leads that are within there. And then if you continue to see all leads, it'll show you all of your leads, of course. The financial documents, idea books, and Houzz Pro news, success stories. Lots of stuff here to unpack. So I definitely encourage you, when you get time, go through each of these points and spend some time looking at the different videos, the tutorials, and any of the things and items that we cover today. If you have questions, I'm positive we have a video on it and you can go back and check that out after as well. And this is being recorded. If that is a question, just to make sure this is being recorded, you'll be able to go back and watch this as well after. So just starting off, right here on the fourth tab, going into our project management deep dive, we're going to start with projects. If I click the little caret button down here, it'll show you all of your projects, recent projects, timelines or tasks. I'm going to click into all projects to show you just an overview of what it would look like. So right now, of course, this is going to show me all of my projects down here. My recent projects are here at the top. And it'll keep a history for everything. So if you have different projects you want to access at any point, you can go back through the all projects. A quick call out here on the left. This is just the menu bar. It'll show you an overall timeline for all projects. So each of my projects, if I have a timeline and I had it more built out, it would show you all of these different timelines as a collective. And then for the project level, it'll also show you an individual timeline, which we'll go into in a moment. This will also show just overview of tasks that I have coming up, my clients, or if I want to access my vendors, I can go in and access these different things as well. So you can add a new vendor over here at the right. If you have someone that you work with frequently, you could add a new vendor, put in their contact information, the category. It might be a company that you would have purchase orders with, and it'll show you the dates and all of those different things. Here we have the search feature. So if you had a lot of different vendors in here, you could search by name. It'll show you if it was a vendor or subcontractor, the different categories if you had that, and then anything that was active, all, or archived. So for today, again, any projects I had worked on recently, this will have a quick access point for the top 3 projects that I've worked on recently. So If I want, I can also want it to pull out the very top menu bar. This is a universal search. So if you're looking for something by name, we've tried to make it super easy. If you're looking through the leads, estimate messages, you can't find something. This is where you could type in a person's name, a part, material, anything. And this feature is incredible because it's a universal search for the entire back end for all of your information. So if you've used that word, it will pull it up and you'll be able to find that really quickly and access that. On the top hand, right-hand corner, so I'll click in here, and this is where I could add in a new project. You might be getting different leads and inquiries from Houzz Pro, but if it's an external project, you can always add in those clients as well. So what would be required is just a project name, like a home remodel. You could put in a client name. You would just put in maybe like Dan Jones, and then an address. And then there are other information here. Let's go with 55555. And then an address. And once you do that, it will allow you to create this lead, and it will pull from the zip code that you put in here. So 92626, this will be for Costa Mesa, California. I just wanted to show you this. If you have any notes here, you can add that. You can add another email address or another phone number, anything like that you might want to, and you would just save that. If you wanted to add any other additional information, maybe there's additional addresses, you could do that. Financial details like the budget, you could put that in there. This is where you could also put the online payments. Definitely want to encourage you to do the online payments, and then additional information you might have for that project. So after, it would create that, and then you would have access to a broader overview of all the different features included with that project that you now have access to once you have created a project. And just starting from top left to the right, if you want, you can rename the project here. If you want it to, you could edit. It'll also, you'll have the ability to edit here. If I wanted to go back and edit something, you'll be able to invite different subcontractors or vendors to collaborate on the project with you. We'll also talk about the client dashboard in a little bit, but this is where it would be a centralized communication between you and that client. And what's great about this is you'll be able to pick and choose which parts of the project that you want to give them a preview to, or what you would like to communicate with them. It'll be a centralized communication hub for you and the client. And you'll be able to have permissions where you can go in and pick what you share. Sorry, I said that in a little bit odd way, but trying to communicate that you do have access to make that adjustment.
Right. So, I mean, it all comes from the project. So once you create a project, there's all kinds of other things that open up, and Emily's going to talk us through. This chapter is estimates and takeoffs, and then we'll sort of march through sequentially. So ask questions that we're here for you.
And then I'm going to just come back to the other one, the Big Sur home remodel. I'm going to click into this, and just starting off with the estimates. If I wanted to create an estimate, there's a couple different access points. So creating an estimate here, I could click here or even down here. So there's different access points. If I click into this, this will give me the ability to just start it off from scratch. And whenever you do add in items, you'll be able to have you basically will have the ability to go in and add in these things manually. And you'll also have the option from pulling them from a parts list, a catalog. And if you have new things that you do add, it will add it to your catalog. So it'll have it'll keep all that historical data for you. So you don't have to keep adding it in every single time. You can look for it and add it in. So this is just from scratch. If I wanted to pull any information though from my parts list, I could pull from templates, and I could do my templates, or I could use the templates, the system templates. And right now we have templates for the bathroom, deck, interior paint, kitchen, and living area. We're always open to suggestions. So if you have different templates that you would like to see, we love to hear your feedback. You can share that with our product team, and we can always look into adding those as well. So just for this example, I'm just going to go ahead and do kitchen, and I can add in these different items, or I could even pick and select which items if I just wanted to add in specific items. So for this, I did want to add in all items, and then I can close this out. If I wanted to add in another room, I could also do that. What's great about this is if something on here is not what you would like, you have the ability to remove an item. You also have the ability to select all and remove a certain grouping of items, or if you wanted to change any of the different columns here. So the quantity, the unit, the material, labor, markup, any of these different things, tax, anything that would be applicable for you to maybe make a change to, you have the ability to go through and make that change. So maybe I need it to here. I could always change that and it will update appropriately. If I also wanted to change the unit, you have the ability to toggle between pieces, hours, linear feet, square feet, cubic yard. You could even add your own customized unit if you like. And then same thing with any of these other different columns. If the material or the labor price is something that you want to change, you have the ability to do so. And
hey, Emily, there's a question from Amy about additional emails. Where else can you add additional emails? Can you do it? Is it just in the project section, or can you put them? Can you add it in the lead section too?
So you could add it in the lead section. I believe if you're going in here, you have the ability. Let me come back into different leads. This will be covered on a different part, but if you want it to, I believe there is a spot where you can add in the different email addresses, and you could also put in a note somewhere as a where you could add in a different description and add additional emails. Does that help? So you can do it at the projects. And then whenever you're in the project itself, if you need it to add in additional project details, you can hit edit. And then there you can add additional addresses. If you wanted to add and edit any more clients, additional email addresses, that's where you could also go through and add an additional email address as well.
Great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So let me go back. And then from here, so you'll see that we have this estimate in progress here. If I wanted to add anything else, maybe it is a kitchen and a bathroom, you could always add in additional items. One thing I wanted to mention that I haven't mentioned yet is that you might notice that everything is, what I love about this is all your documents in here are going to be branded with your company name, your company information, and the address. This is the spot where you would have your logo. It'll keep your estimate number. You can label your estimate if you wanted to change this for the kitchen specifically. If I wanted to put estimate for kitchen, I have the ability to put that on here. So, and then I just hit check and it will save that. And then this has all of my clients' details as well. So it's going to show where this is being billed to, the client name, that client's email address, as well as their street address. And one thing to keep in mind, all of this information, it is aggregated every quarter by our Real Remax. So we try to make sure that all of the pricing in here is accurate and it's based off of a client's zip code. So if you have information that you're pulling from the system with our customized template or with our templates, that is where that information will be pulled from. And we try to make sure that every quarter this is updated and that you're getting accurate information. But again, as a reminder, if it is a little bit different from what you're seeing, you have the ability to make that adjustment. Other items wanted to pull out is there's different more action items up here at the top. you'll be able to, so say if you're with a client and you're ready to move forward, you go through and do an estimate in real time with them, you're talking things out, you will be able to actually approve this for them. If you want it to, you have that ability, but then also you can send them this, which I'll go to in just 1 second. So, or you can decline certain things. You could also add the approve per line item, which makes it really nice. If there's certain parts or materials that they would like to see, maybe there's different sync options, things like that. You could add in both options. They could pick the one that they like and decline the other, which makes it really great. You also have the ability to save this as a template, which is really great. If I wanted to, I could put master template for kitchen, which I've already done that for my template, so I wouldn't do that. But if I wanted to, I could do that. I could also duplicate and edit if needed, export any of these different items. And then other items, we can schedule payment. We can also share this as a link. And let me just scroll down real quick to show you the schedule payment feature within this estimate. So this will show you just the subtotal. If there's tax or anything like that, you can add that, add the new tax rate, or it'll show you the total. This will also give you the ability to schedule in different payments, things like that. Again, if you want to take payment, you can go ahead and set that up here. We do take MasterCard, Visa, Discover, American Express. Recently, I've also added Venmo and Zelle, that if your payments are coming, your clients pay you through Venmo or Zelle, you can log the payment that way. Bank transfer is also acceptable, and of course, cash or check. Just scrolling down again, wanted to show you files. This is a great spot if you're doing an estimate. If you have any files, that external files that you'd like to upload, you can do that. A lot of times people might add, before photos, things like that for the estimate to show the before, and then anything else that you want to attach that was an external file. You also have the ability to upload terms and conditions. With that, you can also save those terms and conditions if you'd like to. So if you give someone a guarantee on certain things and you wanted to save, for example, a 14-day guarantee for terms and conditions, you could do that and just add it in. It's real simple, as well as adding in a memo or a note after, maybe just saying to your client something along the lines of, hey, thanks for meeting today. Great to go over your project. Excited to get started. Here's the estimate, something like that. Whatever you'd like to add, you could also save things as templates the same way. So if someone has any questions, things like that, you could also, that usually comes up, questions regarding the different estimate. You might have questions and answers that you can kind of toggle in and input the response to the questions that may have came up if you were meeting them and then went back to do the estimate. The other quick, looks like there's a question. Is there a way to import data from Excel to Houzz Pro? As far as actually importing a CSV for product list, I believe that you can, let me see, is that something that we're able to do now where we can, I know our engineers on the back end, I believe that.
Yeah, we can do catalog import. It just released, It's either last week or next week. It's coming. Yes, we can do it. So you can import your catalog. If you have an established catalog, it's live right now, you can pull it in. And later, towards the end of the year, we'll be able to pull in estimates. If you have a favorite estimate template under a favorite estimate template that sits in Excel or another format, you can pull it into Houzz Pro as well. So
yeah,
a lot of what Emily's showing you here is how to do things from scratch so that you do it one time, save it as a template, rinse and repeat, and then it makes things go much faster.
Yes, exactly. And by having that ability, it can save a lot of time on the back end of just doing it over and over and over and over and over. So
right. Emily, would you want to share that real quick? It's under manage and then parts and services.
Yes. So parts and categories. Let me pull this up. And then if you wanted to import parts and categories, you could do that. Or if you wanted to create new. And then again, this is broken down into different favorites. If you star anything on here, for example, every job you're going to have to get dumpsters. If that's something that you frequently are going to have to use, you could put that in with the material, the unit, all of that, all your different items here. as well as any of these different things for the site cleaning, the protection, all of these different things that would be here. And then different templates. This will also show you just the system templates here, as well as your templates that you've created yourself. So it will save and store that information. And if you want it to create one, you can do that. Or if you wanted to import your information right here on the right-hand corner. All right, let me get back over to projects, recent project, and then come back into that.
I think you were talking about payment schedules.
Yes.
There's a question from Jennifer about change orders along the lines of line item approval for estimates. Can you do that for change orders too?
Yes, 1 second here. So let me click back in my estimate, click into this. So that is one thing to kind of keep note of. If you are doing a change order, because changes do happen, I was just going to mention, if you do that, you want to make sure that it is linked. Basically, it's preferable if it is linked with your actual estimate. So go back to the estimate and you would go in and make a change. So if I need it to, let me actually show you what it would look like after I've preview and share and get this approved. But I'll come back to the change order. 1 second. So this is what it would look like to the client view. Again, you can pick and choose different things that you would like to have them see. You could export this as a PDF. You can change what they see again over here. If you don't want them to see certain things, you could remove those items or add in items. And then they would be able to do an electronic signature. If they scroll to the bottom, they'll be able to see the TNCs, also have their electronic signature. Okay, I'm going to go back to the edit mode here and then just approve this. It's going to ask if I want to approve this. Yes, I want to approve this. And then from that point, if I need it to, it'll give me the option to do a couple other items. So I could either do a invoice or a change order or create a purchase order. So if I wanted to do a change order, I could just simply click into that. And of course, this is one of the biggest features that we get a ton of great feedback about, because there's changes that arise on every single project. There's always unforeseen things. So here I wanted to pull out and show you that it'll show you the planned, it'll show you the type, what was planned and what was updated. And it'll have the linked documents for that as well. So for this, I'm just going to use this as an example. This was the planned amount that I would need, the quantity, and maybe I need 4 of these versus 2. So now it's going to highlight in yellow. And if the cost might change, or the material cost won't change, but the labor or something like that might change, you might change that to, let's see. I'm just going to put this in here. Oops, which is a very minimal change right here, but maybe it just went up a little bit. And then if you wanted to, so say this was something for like a countertop or something that was a little bit more, more of a trouble or something like that, you might add in, you have the ability to add in a markup. You can also add in a markup cost for percent or price point to just make sure that you are paying yourself first over the top. So you have that ability. Also, if someone is making a lot of changes, you have the ability to mark up something if need be. So maybe you're like, okay, I'm going to add a 20% markup for this change if I need it to, and it would make that additional change. And then down here at the bottom, you could see the subtotal from before, the markup. If you need to add in any fee, you could do that. You could also have the updated cost and the planned cost. So this would be the new price point. And then from here, this actually brings down to the payment options. Right now, this is just going to show the change order amount, that new amount. So if you want, you could just put change order. So you'll know exactly what it was for your payment history. And then you have the ability to have this due upon receipt, or you have the ability to do like a net 15, a net 30, a net 60, or even customize this. We're just going to put due upon receipt. And then the same way that you would preview and share and send it to them, you have the ability to do so. And then Let me just show you. If I click share, it's going to ask for the client's information. It'll basically include the change order subject for your business. It'll have a short message where you can customize this if you want it to. You could copy this and send this even as a text link if you need it to. Send yourself a copy and then export this as PDF if you need it to, and then just hit send. So from there, you can then go back to the project. And once this is approved, you can, you'll see this is approved. Once this is approved, you then can go in and start doing an invoice. So if I want it to approve this, I can do that. And then from there, I can, refresh my screen. I was going to say you can also export this and then copy this link to share. I'm going to come back over here to the home page. And if I wanted to, I can, you'll be able to see that these have both been approved. So if I wanted to, I could then click into this and create the actual invoice. It'll prompt you through that of creating an invoice for this. If I scroll to the bottom down here, I could also log payments if anything had happened, but let me just hit create invoice. And then I'll scroll towards the bottom where I can basically request a deposit or schedule payment. So right now, this is just showing that original invoice. That part, if I wanted to put a deposit on here, I could put a certain percentage if I wanted to. So if I wanted to have maybe 20%, I could see what that deposit part would be. I could have 20%, or I could change that whichever I wanted, whatever I would like to do. I could have that due upon receipt or change the date. I would hit create, and then it will automatically deduct that, the remainder from that. If I want to create a payment schedule from this, I could just put payment 1 or payment 2. And then if I hit schedule payment, it will automatically divide the remaining parts of the balance. And then from there, I could go in and just label the different payments. Payment 3, payment 4 if I like. And then I could change this to a net 30. And then I could also change these to like a net 60. And then, and
then what do you do about change orders with after the invoice status?
It's the same as this. You would just send it.
Okay.
It would be the exact same process for this. You would just go to that document, but it's all linked, and you would go back through and do the payment. So
Great.
For that, I think we would just do upon receipt for the change order is what I would do. That way there's no money on the table and gets taken care of right away. And then you have the ability, once the client does make a payment, you have the ability to also log payment. So you'll have the ability to log payment from either a bank transfer, cash, of course, check, credit card, Venmo, Zelle, any of those things, you'll be able to log that. If I wanted to just do like a check as an example, they give you a check, you could just put the reference number, and then you could also send them a receipt with the date and all of that. And then
so since we're talking about money, how does this all flow into QuickBooks?
So that's a great question. So we are integrated with QuickBooks Online. It does need to be the online version. And once you have sent out a invoice and it has been paid, it will automatically update and show within QuickBooks Online. And your bookkeepers and your accountants will love you for this. So it'll be a lot easier for come end of year for tax purposes, all of that. It'll be real easy to keep things all in place and keep things on track. So you'll know when payments have been received and all of that. And then also within the Manage tab, you'll be able to see any of your different reports and things like that. So let me show you real quick. So for invoices, all of that, let me show you here. It would show you kind of the status of different projects, things that might be in draft or partially paid. That's another thing that is really great. It'll also be able to issue invoice numbers, things like that. If you needed to create an invoice from here, you could do that. It'll also show you what's active, archived, all. You'll also be able to see and pick and choose which of these different statuses you want to toggle through, as well as dates, all of that different things. As well as at the top, it'll show you a total of all, what's been paid, and then the balance. And then
we get questions about QuickBooks all the time. I'll stick an article in the chat window.
Okay, and then
it might help folks.
Perfect. And I was going to say, if you're looking to integrate the QuickBooks, just since we're on that, and that's a perfect segue to show you this, if you come to the icon, right, which would be your profile picture, if you click on that, the drop-down menu, if you go to Houzz Pro settings, you'll be able to go to integrations, and this will walk you through the QuickBook integrations. It'll show you, it's a 4-step process. That way it'll walk you through it really easily. And if you need help, you will have a dedicated rep to help walk you through that, or you could call support if you need help. But usually it's pretty straightforward, and it gives you a lot of different videos and prompts to walk you manually through it. So, all right, let me get back over to projects, and then
one more on QuickBooks and invoices. Is there, Brian, want to know, is there a compelling reason to invoice here instead of QuickBooks? I think I know the answer, but I want to see what your take was.
Well, essentially just to have everything in one place, and that way, if you're using the software, it's like the right hand's talking to the left hand, and I think that it's just a great way to make sure all of your activity, once it's paid, it syncs over there. But that way, you don't have to manually put it in as well. This will just automatically do everything for you once the payment has been updated and received. Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah, that, and there's also some financial dashboards that'll show you ingoing and outgoing payments by project level that might help keep things straight for you, Brian.
So coming back over to the project, I wanted to see if we had any other questions about that before I went into takeoffs.
It looks like Amy has one about converting an invoice to a change order.
So once you have made something an invoice, once you have invoiced an estimate, you will not be able to make a change. That's you'll want to make sure you do all the changes within the actual estimate. So if you're, just as an example, if it's already been invoiced, you can't go back because it is set. But if it is something that has been, you've sent the estimate and there's a change, you can go back, click into the estimate and make a change, if that helps clear that up. Okay. And I was just going to say, so the other access point, and a lot of our professionals use our takeoff feature. And what's great about this is I've kind of already preloaded some plans. What you'll want to do is, of course, use a PDF document. And a lot of our home professionals use this to get a tally on parts and materials really quickly, really easily. It's straightforward, and it saves you a lot of time in the long run. When you upload this, you have the ability to, like I said, it'll prompt you to upload. You want to use a PDF. If you have additional plans that you'll want to use, you can use the upload feature at the top here. So just kind of starting off from this will show you the different pages that were on the plans on the left-hand side. One thing to call out here is if you are on an actual page, there's 3 ellipses here that you can rename this, clone this, or delete this. So if I wanted to clone this, I could clone this with measurements or without measurements. More often than not, you'll put without, and that way you can, a lot of times you'll clone a page just so it's not so overwhelming with a lot of different markups. And with this, you can, once this loads, you can name these different pages for your different project. And let me zoom in a little bit. Oops. And then let me get out of that. Let me undo that. This is the undo feature. So let me come to the select so I can actually move this around. But a couple things I wanted to also bring up here. After I rename this, so if I wanted to rename this, I could rename it something like the different part or material that I was looking to do. So I could put carpeting and outlets. something like that. You could also label whatever makes sense for you and helps you to have a nice organic flow. Again, you can toggle to the different pages on here. It'll take you to that different page of the different plans, but hopefully that helps. And then, was there a question before I?
No, I was just going to ask the floor, how often are you guys building from plans versus, a remodel? Take a door out, put a window in where there's no plans, but it's more of this works great when you have new plans.
Yes. And also if you're doing a large project, this is really helpful because it can, again, help you move through the flow of something really quickly. Once you upload your project here, the main thing of what you'll want to do is go ahead and look for the page settings. So the scale, it will automatically recognize. This is right now recognizing this is 1/4 inch to 1 foot. You can, of course, change this if you know it is different, but you can see that that's what this is the scale for that. The page scale is super important, so you make sure you're getting accuracy. We also have where you can toggle between imperial and metric if you need to change that measurement depending upon. If you need to find the scale, this will also prompt you for this. If, say, for example, a certain length of a wall is a certain amount of feet, you can just put that in. It will help you to elaborate your plans and find the scale based on that.
What about creating a plan for plumbing or electrical? Does Takeoffs work for that?
So electrical, I believe you can do all of those different things. We actually have different videos online for different takeoff specifics. After this session, also, if you wanted to schedule some time with us to go more in depth with some of those real specific type of professions that would help you and the different plans, we can go into that on a one-on-one. For this, just like a broad overview, you absolutely can label anything and use any type of group. So that could work. And just showing from, again, the top to the bottom, you basically would add in different favorites. And this is where, again, you can change it and make it specific to your field. So if you wanted to add something in for electrical or for the plumbing, you could add in those different, whatever part material you wanted to add in here. You would just add that into your favorites. If it was something that you frequently use, you would choose the color appearance to identify that different part or material. If it is a unit of some sort, you would just select the unit. If it's a count of something, you would select a shape that you would use to identify. So again, if it was like for toilets or for outlets, anything like that, you would just select a shape for a count item. If it's a different unit, you can pick and choose the different feet, square foot, whatever it is, and the different price points to ensure that you're getting the most accurate pricing and have control over that. So that's where you would do that, is add in your favorites, add in the different materials that you would be counting. For this example, just to show you this, starting here, this is where you would do all the different measuring. So if I wanted to do just a large space and I wanted to start by clicking the rectangle, then I would select my material group. So for example, for this, I might do concrete, and I could just add this in as a foundational slab. This, pardon me if it's not exactly perfect, but this is just, again, for an example. If I wanted to put this on here, if I kept measuring for the different areas, it would take that and start measuring for the different rooms of the plans. Once it has this labeled, you can label the different rooms. So for example, you could just put kitchen and great room, kitchen/great room. And that way you'll know how to keep this in order and identify which area is which. And this is where you could put master suite, bedroom 2, and that way it would label everything. From here, if you wanted to click onto the polygon, it would do the exact same space measuring, but it say that something was it wasn't just a straight square. You can drag and drop. Maybe I just wanted to come across and then make some measurements here. You could drag and drop, and then once I double click that, it will enclose that space. For the length tool, this is where you could go in and do something, for example, like walls. You could do the length tool and this is where you might actually add in something that's a little bit thicker so you can see. You could add in here. Let me actually escape that and undo. Come back and do the walls. And I'll do them over here. You can see this would measure the wall for that. If you need it to, from that point, I could add that in. I could also add in like the height. If this were like concrete, any of this other stuff, I could add in the pitch, the depth, any of those different things, but I could add this in. So just say, for example, this was 10 feet. It will calibrate all of that for you as an example. And then for things like, as an example, if I was doing the outside, I was doing some roofing, any of this stuff, if I needed to do the deduct tool, I could go through and use the deduct, and I could deduct the space. So this is great for windows and doors, things of that nature. Let me just show you with using the siding so you can kind of see what it looks like. If I just, as a quick example, if I did siding for this, I could then come in and just deduct for the actual windows, which makes it really nice. And again, you can go back and label and make adjustments where you need to. So if I needed to deduct,
saves you time.
Yeah, saves you a little time. And again, this is not perfect by any means, you obviously can see, but this is just kind of giving you a rough idea of that. Toggling back over here to this page, I can show you if I were to come over and if I wanted to do a count of something, maybe I wanted to add in the different electrical outlets, I could just mark this. Once I select that, I could just go through and start marking where my outlets would be. And let me make this a little thicker. Any other questions on this? You can it's probably a little bit hard to see with this red, but just using this as an example.
Any other questions about takeoffs? It's pretty powerful once you get it into your workflow. If it's part of your business already.
It definitely can save you a lot of time, and I feel like a lot of just a lot of effort. If you're someone who goes out and pulls out the ruler and the plans and all of that, having this ability to do everything on the computer really quickly, really easily, it really helps with that workflow. The other thing that I wanted to mention is you have the ability to write notes. So maybe that you might have a situation where you are communicating with one of your contractors where you might need to write them a note. If you click on the text button, you can go in and please check out the electrical. And then make sure it's accurate, something like that. You can write them a special note of sorts. If you wanted to undo something, you could, of course, undo something. The other thing that I wanted to show you is once you do get all of your different measurements, you have the ability to take this into an actual estimate. It'll show you the plans. It'll show you the different measurements for the different rooms that you've done or different pages that you've worked on. And you have the ability to email this or start a new estimate. You also have, whenever you click to start a new estimate, you have the ability to combine groups or separate groups, whichever you prefer. And then from here, I'm just going to go ahead and combine the groups and start the estimate. Just as we had before, it is going to show you a quick rundown of what that would look like in your different measurements. So from that, again, you'll have the ability to go through and make adjustments based on different pricing or different items. Something I forgot to mention earlier, if you wanted to add in descriptions or anything like that, you have the ability to go to the settings So here, right beside the add items, you can click on the settings and you have the ability to add in a description. You have the ability to add an image, auto number, any of these different things, SKU, unit. If there's something that's not here and you want to add a column for, you have the ability to customize this to make it really what you need. And then if I save this, you can see that it added for description. If I wanted to add in the specifics for those different rooms or anything that was worth mentioning, you could add that in there. And another thing I meant to mention earlier is you have the ability to create the due dates for these. So you can create a due date for this estimate. If you like, you can make it due by the following Friday, and then it will actually update the date created, but then the due date. You'll also see that this is in draft. You'll be able to see when things have been sent, approved, paid, partially paid, or invoiced. And then same as any of the other estimates that are templates that are used for the estimating feature, you'll have the ability to either schedule a payment, request a deposit, add any files. Maybe if you were on site and you were doing the takeoff and you wanted to take photos, you could upload those photos as well. Any of the terms and conditions, anything else as before, those different access points, you'll have the ability to do so. If you want to share this as a link, you also have that ability. And then other than that, it's the same as you would create for the actual estimate or send out for the estimate. You preview and share. It'll show you the view of this. Again, for the takeoffs, it breaks it down by the material group, but you can customize the settings to make it look whatever way you'd like. You can pick and choose for your pricing on the settings here, so you can customize what your client would see. Once you drop this down, you'll be able to see with the pricing, you can show the category of pricing. You can show the detailed breakdown, show detailed pricing, or even the markup breakdown. Also, item details, the quantity, unit, cost, item info if needed, any approvals. It'll have the option to do either electronic signature or approval per line item, which is great. It can be helpful. I really like the electronic signature because you can, like I said, you can send this as a link and it's something they can access on their phone. It just makes that turnaround time really quick and easy.
So we're getting pretty close to the halfway point in the topics we were going to cover. The next chunk is purchase orders, retainers, and then the mobile app. Any other questions on running your projects with estimates or takeoffs? And we'll do your question, and maybe you can look at that question from Brooke about invoicing partially invoiced change orders.
Hold on 1 second. This one's been invoiced, but not, if it's been paid, that's when you cannot. So if it's just been invoiced, you should be able to do it. So this is going to pull it up and allow you to make the changes. It's just once the payment has been made. Sorry, I got confused on the question. Once it has been paid, you cannot go back and do that. So if it's been partially, yes, but you'll just click into it and that's where you can do the edits and adjustments. Sorry for the confusion. I was confused by the question for a second. So upload files.
Oh, it's all good.
The customer can see upload. You can pick and choose what they'll have ability to see. Again, if you wanted to upload certain material receipts, you can absolutely upload them. And that actually brings me to a great spot to show you on the overview. What's great here is you have a client dashboard. The client dashboard is really nice because this is going to show you where this is going to be that centralized communication point between you and the client, where you can pick and choose the different information you want to share with them. Now, if you put the total outstanding balance for their project, as I click these different things, toggle these on here, this is what they would start to see. This is kind of what this view for them looks like. If I have different financial aspects that I want to share with them and show them, it'll have a history for the different items. So like the change order, any of those different things, it'll have a history of that. Attachments. If I want to go through and add in attachments, you can add in different attachments. Let me actually go in and show you a couple of the entry points with some of the different features. So, where you can add in permissions to share with your client. So for example, daily logs is one where you might go in and keep record. A lot of people do this a lot of places it's required, but a lot of times it's great to have just a record of just the activity day to day, week to week. So you can see an overview of the work being done, the pending projects, a recap of that week's progress, but also the weather, any visitors, subcontractors, things like that, anything that's upcoming. You'll be able to create new, and then you could use a template or you could use your own new daily log. If you create from a template, you can, once I click into this, you have the ability to attach files, receipts, any of these different things. You can actually add pictures. You can bullet point different things. You can add links to different stuff. You also have the ability to share this. So there's a share button on the right-hand top corner where you can go in and you'll actually be able to, right now this says that my client has no access to the daily logs. So you could give them zero access to this information, and it could be just between you and your subs, or just a record for yourself, or you could give them access to this within their dashboard. And I'll show you how the dashboard updates in just a second once I click back to that. And then if you want, you can also give this access to your subs and vendors as well. So if you wanted to do that, you could do that. If I wanted to add a team member to this project, I could go in and add a team member to the project and give them access to make sure everyone has the same communication and that there's, again, just a smooth, clear, transparent communication between the subs, the client, and yourself. Again, you as the home professional will have the ability to dictate what is being shared. So if you want to change the access at any point, you can also do that. But what's nice on this, again, you can invite the subs here the same way, or if I needed to make any edits, I could also do that as well. So whenever I go back and go to preview and share, you can then see how this would look with the daily logs now here on the dashboard. You'll be able to see, if I click into this, it will actually show you the overview, any pending actions. And if I wanted to show the client that, I would just add that in. If I wanted to CC anyone on that, add that to someone else, you could do that as well. You could also send yourself a copy for all the different correspondence. Anything that would make sense for you, you can do that.
The next question up from Brooke is around inviting subs and how do they use these features? Like, does a sub have to be part of Houzz?
So the sub doesn't have to be part of Houzz. In fact, if you send this out, it would send them an invite to the project, but they do not have to be part of Houzz. It will give them whatever access. So the same spot where you would do the integration, you'll just want to come into the Houzz Pro settings. So up here on the right-hand corner, this will be the spot where you would access the Houzz Pro settings, right where your profile picture is. Once you click into the Houzz Pro settings, this is really a great spot where I would click into each of these different areas within the settings and kind of get a preview of each of these different areas, because they're definitely worth speaking to. The team members, subcontractors, and vendors, if I click into this, you'll be able to see here, this is where you would invite your team members. So right now it's toggled onto team members on this side. If I click here, it will toggle to the subcontractor vendors. And then it'll also show you right now up here at the top, it'll show you that I have one team member and then two subcontractor vendors. So right now I'm on the team members, but if I come over here to the right and I wanted to invite a team member, it's really straightforward. I would just put in their name, their last name, and then I would just put in an email address for that. and then hit next. I would put their role. So I could put team member, and then I could put what I wanted to give them access to. So this is really, really important to kind of keep note of, because this is where you can customize the role and positions. You can pick and choose whether you want to give them access to leads or not, or maybe it's partial, maybe it's client communication, but not estimates and takeoffs. So you can really go through and dictate which parts of a project you would like to give them access to, if that helps. And for each of the different sections, you'd be able to see that. If you wanted to go
super granular controls.
Yes, exactly. So, and then once you do that, it'll say that this has been sent out. You could then invite another, and then kind of start building out your team member invitations and your team within Houzz Pro. Same thing with the subcontractors, vendors. You would just do the same here. So this again, I could invite it would be the exact same process, and you would pick and choose which information you would give them preview to. Okay, a couple other things I was going to mention that are definitely worth kind of speaking to is the ability to link your calendar. I was just going to say, since we're on this page, this is something that I know comes up a lot, is being able to have people book with you. So within Houzz Pro, it is a great feature to have where you can do Zoom meetings with your clients, or you could do Google Meets or GoToMeetings, any of these different things where you can add this in, and they'll be able to, one, access your calendar from Houzz, but also whenever you're going into the leads, things like that, you can send them your calendar link as well. Also within here, this is where you could go in and add in the online payments. This will walk you through, which will also make it super easy for connecting your card online, so that you can take the payments for the estimates, the invoicing, all of that. It'll just make it super easy to track everything and have everything within Houzz. Also bank transfers, all of that, and then log all of that information. So just wanted to point that out. That is also the spot where you would do that. There's also entry points within your actual projects and things like that as well. Okay, let me come back to the project. And then wanted to highlight another item over here, the timeline feature. Is that being covered, Cameron, on a different spot? Or did you want me to just briefly talk about how like the access of that also can...
You could touch on it briefly. We're gonna get real deep on the timeline and some other topics tomorrow, but touch on it real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing with the dashboard here. This is one of the other features that you can actually go through and invite clients to. So if someone, for example, whenever you're doing the design phase, the planning, the scheduling, start construction, everything has its own phase. And this is really great because you can, like I said, you can invite different team members or the clients to this and give people permission to see this. So if I went ahead and gave the client either basic access or a detailed access, I could do that. If I wanted to give any team members access, I could do that. Also my subs and vendors. That way you can basically, again, have that real transparent, open communication, which is the whole point of the client dashboard. Now, if I go into this, wanted to show this again, just kind of how this adds in the different features. And if I start adding in information I want them to see, they'll be able to see these different components of the job. If I wanted to show any of these other parts, they'll be able to toggle to any of these different features here. It's also nice because it would have your logo, your company information, and then their project location, which is great. Okay. Oh, last thing I was going to say is you can also, so this would be sent as an email, but you could also send this as a link. Again, super easy, making it easy to share this document with your clients on the fly. I will let them kind of go through the different key points of this, not to get kind of caught up in it. And then we can come back over here to project, recent projects, Big Sur project. So with purchase orders, this will be located here again on the overview section of this project on the left-hand side. What you'll see here is this is where if you add in different vendors. So maybe you're going to Home Depot or if you're getting different things from local vendors that you're using, places that you're sourcing, like the lumber yard or any of these different places that you're sourcing your parts and materials, you can go in and add these different items. So maybe it's the countertops or whatever it might be. If you went to Home Depot and if you wanted to add this one in, you could add in a new purchase order, or if you wanted to create a new vendor, let me actually show you that as well. So I'm just going to actually put Houzz as another vendor, and then put Houzz.com. And then if I wanted to add any different description, I could do that. I could add any of this different and additional information so that it keeps track of this. And this is really great for just, again, business purposes, for keeping, track of all the different pricing and for taxes and everything like that when you're purchasing. Any additional files that you want to upload, it's really great for all of that, where you can upload any additional information, different categories, things like that. You can add that in here. If I go to create, this would add this vendor in, and I could just start using this to look up different stuff for this client. So if I wanted to, I can start building a purchase order. So if I wanted to add in different items, I could pull things and source things from Houzz, and then add items, quickly browse items from product library. I could also add in different things. Maybe it's from my favorites. This is what's great about this. You'll have parts and materials lists that you can use, different templates. Same thing applies here. These are also things, like I said, if you have favorites, you can add items in and you can utilize that. So for this, as an example, one thing that is worth mentioning within Houzz, the different products, you can shop different products on here, and you can also get a discount on different products. If I was to essentially shop a product on here, you're part of the trade program, so you'll get an additional discount that you can also use as you can redeem points for future purchases. There's tons of great benefits here, but just for this purpose, I was just going to wanted to say that you could source products here and then add them in if you had real products. As an example for today, I'm just going to use this dumpster as an example of something. So maybe I needed to purchase some dumpsters for the project, or if I needed to purchase anything for the project, I could go in and do that. I can change the price, the quantity, the shipping, any of those things. Anything that I need to change, I could do that. And for this, because it would probably be a rental, let me actually not use the dumpsters as an example. Maybe we just, instead of labeling it dumpsters, we'll just say that this is actual countertops instead.
They might be a little more than $500.
Yeah, exactly. We can change the price. So we can go in and then we can make this, let's just add a 0 in here. That always makes it better. And then we could go in and add a description if we wanted to, the manufacturer, SKU, all these different things. We can also have the ability to assign to a room. But just for the ease of this is what it's about, where you can add in this different information. You can create this purchase order if you need to upload, again, files, terms. It's very similar to the estimate. You can upload any of those different things. What's great about this, once I've created this or added this, I can preview and share in a second. But I wanted to show you on the right-hand side, it'll show you the tracking for different things as well. So once I preview and share this, from here, I would send this to my vendor. So if I want to have the different details of everything, I can show that. Again, client-facing, vendor-facing, this would just be my purchase order for this. So if I want to have a copy of this, I could do that. I would put this to my contact here for that vendor. So whoever my contact is, I would make sure that that would be there, that they would have a record for that, and it would be able to track. So I'm going to go back to the edit mode, and then I'm going to mark this as billed. And I could also log a payment if the client paid for this as well already. So once I do this, though, I can also add in different key points here, which will show me I'm waiting for a quote on this. This has been ordered. This is back ordered. Any of these different things, it will show you that, or you can kind of mark and select this once you have an update from your vendor on those different items. Another great thing is, so say you're needing to purchase different products for the build and you need to do a retainer request, you can come back to the project and request that they send you a retainer for the purchase of those items. So you would just simply want to come down to the left-hand side here to your retainers and credits. You could, right now you'll see that there's nothing at the top that has been requested, nothing that is available. But once you send a request on this for a purchase order, or you could also apply these to the different payments for a project. Clients do that as well. You can request a retainer here. If I go to new retainer, there's a couple spots here that what you could do. I was going to say, sorry, let me go back and show you. There's 2 entry points. Just wanted to point out right there at the bottom is the entry point. And then there's an entry point here. Let me click into this. And then maybe I just wanted to put Houzz retainer. And then if I wanted to put a description for anything, I can add in a description for kitchen. And then you could hit save. It would show your description if you want it to. You can put in the quantity. You could put in a unit if it's pieces. Maybe something's being measured in hours, anything like that. Again, you can add that unit or customize that there. You can put in the cost of what it is. Let's just put, I don't remember what I exactly put, but I will put in 4,000 here. And then this will show the total. Once I do that, I can also, the same way that you would request your payment, you could send this to be due upon receipt. And the same thing applies here. All of the TNCs, the files, anything you wanted to add in, you could add that in just as you would with this retainer. And then from here, let me just show you. You could also export this as a PDF, but this, if I come to the right, it'll show you what this would look like for your client. So you're just asking for a retainer for the Houzz countertops, and this would give you the option where you could actually have them pay now. So once they do pay, if you clicked into this, it would give them the option to actually pay within that sent document. If I wanted to have more information, like with the quantity or detailed items, I have the ability to come to the left side here to the settings and add in item details. Again, quantity, unit cost, I could pick and choose where they saw that or not. Item info, I can remove that if I wanted to. Whatever you want to show them, you'll have the ability to make those changes and pick and choose what they would see. Then you would just simply share that, send a message to that person, and then you have the ability to save this as well. If I want to log the payment here, I wanted to show you down here at the bottom, I could log this payment and I could put that they pay me cash. I could send them a receipt. And if I wanted to give them a reference number, you could give them a reference number, anything you wanted to do. You could hit done. It will show that this has been paid. And then the other item is, or the other thing is, once this has been paid, you can then apply this retainer to that purchase order. So if I come back over to the Big Sur model, if I come into my purchase order, I can log a payment and add that in here. If I want to show that this is, I was a little bit off. So if I needed to go back and request some more, I could do that. But if I wanted to log that, I could go in and do that. So just to show you that that's what you could do. And then I was just going to say, everything does have the document details. It'll have the vendor. Again, you can add new vendors really easily. It'll show the ship to, the client information, all of these different things to help track everything. It'll have the descriptions where you can add in manufacturer details, the shipping, side mark details, anything like that. If you wanted to assign this to a room so that whenever things are delivered, you'll know exactly what room it's for. So if it was for the kitchen, you would be able to say this is for the kitchen. It will, like I said, you can show that this has been ordered and it will automatically update through there. Let's see. If I wanted to customize anything where I can show images, you can toggle that feature on or off. If I had images of the Takeoffs, which is really nice, you could just simply click on that and upload images. Let me see if there's some other items that are worth mentioning. You'll see that this has been billed here, or if it's been in draft, billed, also the purchase order number, and then the payment terms, any of those different things. It will have all that information. And then let's see. If I went back to my client dashboard, this would also show up different information that would show that I had allowed them as well. If you also wanted to, again, add in different things with the project and planning, the staging and scheduling, all of those different things, this is where some of that can kind of intertwine. And again, this is what makes it really a cohesive experience with this client dashboard and letting them know what's been ordered, what's not been, kind of where you're at with that project and the different timeline features of that. I know that you guys mentioned receipts. This is also where you could attach different things like that as well. So attach receipts, progression photos, daily logs is somewhere else where I would encourage you to, when you add in a new daily log, is add in progression photos to, if you need to add anything, upload files there as well. Let's see. And then if I also went to the credit to retainers part here, back to that home page, it'll show you that total available available credit, what's been retained as well. So you'll see that this has been retained and applied towards that purchase order. And then the same thing, it will log all of that and keep all your financial information on the different, what's the total of your different purchase orders, the amount paid, and the balance. If you have a lot of different vendors that you're working with for the project, which you will, you'll be sourcing different lumber, windows, different parts and materials from all over the board. So to complete the project, this is really great as you start to get a list of different items that you're purchasing for the project. So you'll have the ability to show kind of when things have been created for today, this month, the quarter, year, everything will keep track of that. And you'll also be able to see the different statuses, what's in draft, what's been sent, partially paid, what's been fully paid. Also organizing by the different vendors, which is really great. You'll be able to toggle between and kind of see where things are at. Also, when things have with the tracking, so you'll be able to see that status of the project again. This is super helpful when you have a lot of different purchase orders for a large scale project. You'll be able to see what's en route, what's back ordered, what's waiting for a quote. You'll be able to follow up with your different team members and ask, maybe you have a certain team member that's following up on, getting a quote for some windows, something like that. You can send them a task and remind them. Are you guys covering tasks on another item?
Yeah, we're covering tasks tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. So that's where it would show some of that stuff too. Beautiful.
I think that addressed Brooke's question about purchase orders.
Yes. You should be able to, yes, you can upload purchase orders from a vendor. You can add that vendor, upload it. It's a way, once you have that, you can kind of track it and add it in there, that information in there, and include it with the project details as well. So yes.
Great.
Yeah, I was just going to say everything that you do that we did cover today as far as like an overview for this. I will let you know that what's great about this is, and before we get into the mobile app, everything that we have within the help section, there are video tutorials, there are webinars, there's the learn section, all of this where you can go back in and revisit some of the information that we covered today. You can also reach out to us if you are a Houzz Pro member and you've signed up and you have a point of contact. You can reach out to your representative and have them walk you through certain things as well. Or if you're interested in signing up and being a member, you can sign up and we can walk you through a demonstration of all of this stuff one-on-one, where it's a space where you can get really interactive and get to the meat and bones of all of the questions that you may have, or different things that might arise for you individually as that home professional. Then I wanted to show you, if I actually clicked into this video tutorials, this is a quick breakdown where it would show you just, again, the basics for, if I click on the estimates, it will show you basically and breakdown, very short videos. All of these are 2 to 5 minutes long at that, and it will show you how to customize different things, do different approvals, just how to create all of this within minutes, which is really great. And I will say, leading now into the mobile app feature, being able to do this stuff on the go is key. I have had so many different home professionals over the years that I've spoke with within the past couple of years since Houzz Pro has really launched, who have told me by having this accessibility on their phone and doing this on the go, that have won jobs with right there on the spot versus having to wait to send them an estimate. So I was just going to show you guys here. This is basically the overview of our Houzz Pro app. This, just to see a visual within this, you'll be able to do, and I'm pulling up my Houzz Pro app as I'm talking to you, so I can kind of just speak to the different points. But within this, you're going to have a spot where you can add in a new lead, a new project. You'll have an access point where you can create a new 3D floor plan. You can go through your client list. You can do your stopwatch, track time for your projects. This is an actual 3D floor plan for a project. What's really great about this is that it's showing you right now a bird's eye view and the different dimensions of this. But once you kind of go through and create this, you'll actually be able to scan a room on spot, which is fantastic, where you can get the real space of things. Use the 3D floor plan tool to measure out the room. If you have a smartphone, which pretty much most of us do, you'll be able to scan that room and go through and create a 3D floor plan from that. And then you can actually then come back. Let me actually come back over here. You'll be able to come back into some of our design tools and work on those 3D floor plans after you've done that from making some of those different scans. So lots of cool features, but within the mobile app itself, it is really a great way to revolutionize the way that you run your business. And it will give you the access to basically just at a touch of a button, create an estimate right there on the spot with your client. You can go in and create from scratch, or you can do just as we mentioned earlier, that you'll be able to use a template. Any of these different things, you can also check in with your clients. You can see what needs a follow-up, what is waiting for review, what meetings you have coming up, what estimates you have open, quick access to projects. There's a lot within the Houzz Pro app that is being built out at a rapid pace. You can manage your leads here. I would encourage you, if you haven't done it already, to go ahead and download the mobile app. And then what's great, this is getting ready to show you, as mentioned earlier, the 3D floor plan feature. You can go in and click into the 3D floor plan and just start working to scan a room right there from your home and play around with this feature yourself. But there's tons of different access points for different things that you're looking to do, whether it's, create an estimate, create a floor plan for your client, send an invoice. You can actually track your time and expenses, things like that. Any of these different things, you'll have client communication where you're able to, again, message your clients back and forth. It will keep a full log of your client correspondence within the dashboard, uploading files, any of these different things. It will go through and you'll be able to access this from your mobile app. One of the other things I wanted to mention, just as you would add a lead from if you're on the go and say that you're working on a project and a neighbor walks up and is like, oh, I love what you're doing with their project. You can go in, and if they're looking to do some work, say they're like, I was wanting to do something here on the exterior. Maybe you're a painter and they're wanting to have you, paint the front of their house or whatever it is, or paint the outside of the house, whatever it might be. You could be a landscape professional. It could be any type of professional. Somebody comes up to you, you have the ability to add in a lead right there from your phone, capture their information, and then say, oh, yes, I would love to talk to you about this. And right there in the moment, you can add the lead and you can get their details of the information, the project details, and have that follow up and start the process for your next project. So lots of cool things, again, to do within the mobile app, requesting payment, just as you would on the desktop or your laptop. You can do this all on the mobile app as well. You can get paid really quickly. It is amazing. So if you haven't downloaded the mobile app already, definitely would encourage you to do so and check out the different features that are available for you.
And what I will say about mobile is keep an eye on it. We are rapidly building out features for Android and mobile so that you can do most of your business from the truck, from the road, from the project site. So
yes.
There's a lot of cool things coming. So the next time we do one of these academies, there'll be a lot more to show.
Yes, specifically the 3D floor plan, which I know that you're going to be going into that, I think tomorrow or the following day. I would definitely encourage that. I did want to show one last thing real quick. This is so cool. It is a new feature that's coming where you can use this with your clients with either your cell phone or your tablet. You can go through, and after you've created a 3D floor plan, you can go through and actually bring that to life with scanning the room and showing this feature. But just to show you, yes, you can go through and scan the feature and it will show you what the room looks like in real life, which is amazing to bring a visualization to your project, to really bring it to life for your clients. So I definitely would encourage you to play with the different features within the mobile app. The 3D floor planner specifically, it has an augmented reality feature that you can toggle on once you've created the plan and really show the example of what it would look like with that visualization of that 3D floor plan. And I've had a lot of different clients tell me that they've actually closed jobs because of using this feature to bring that project to life. So,
and it is out now. So anybody that wants to use it. It
is available now. And any of these different items also, you can find them here on the video tutorial page. But then you can also go to the Houzz Pro YouTube channel itself, and it has a ton of great information here where you can pick any of the videos to learn more about any of these different features. Any point, wherever you're at, if you're trying to get back to the Houzz Pro homepage, you would just come over to this far left corner and just click that, and it'll take you back, and you can get and toggle into any of the different aspects. But I think that's basically a wrap for all the information we had for today.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you for the detailed walkthrough. See you next time, everybody.